Hey, it's me, unapologetically T, and I'm here to do a video on life, my love life after Dante. So I don't even know like how to even kickstart this off, but it was a topic that was like in my head because I feel like a lot of people who go through narcissistic abuse, um, once you leave the relationship, I feel like you have either a reaction that there's this void and it needs to be filled, so you're searching for something to fill it, and then you either are in between where you're just like you're numb and you just like I don't want nobody, um but I ain't, like I'm not gonna be apprehensive either. So it's like that middle ground. And then you got that extreme, it's like, hell fucking no. Keep walking. Red sign on my head is like I do not want to fucking date anyone. Like I don't want to date no one. I just want to be with myself. I feel like initially when I left, that is the feeling that I felt. But I felt both extremes. I felt a void. I needed to fill this void. And initially I just chilled out with myself. But then it got to a point where I was like, okay, but I got needs too. And like I've said in previous videos, like we were not very intimate and in like sexually or anything. Like it was like roommates. And so definitely had like an itch to scratch, and so I definitely felt this void, felt a big void. But I also felt like I used to tell my male coworkers, like, because we used to have these conversations, and I used to be like, it's gonna take some years for me. Like, I'm gonna need like at least 5 years by myself to get through this. Like, or I used to be like, I don't think I could ever be in a long term relationship like ever again. Like, I just feel like I'm too damaged. Like, that nigga destroyed me. Like I don't want it. Like the thoughts of a relationship felt insane. Like it felt like going to jail. Like it felt like prison. And so what I ended up doing was I did, like, months had passed, and I did ended up exploring sexual relationships with no feelings. I feel like I'm good at that. However, to the same degree, like I also am smart enough to know that that fills no void. Like it scratches the itch, and that's about it. And like that's it. And when I say literally, this was like a sexual relationship. Like there was no talking. Like it was like, what you doing? Demon emoji. And like we knew what time it was. And if it clicked, it clicked. It wasn't like nobody was whining about your time ain't match my time. Like, so I didn't have to go through none of that. Like, well, why I can't come over? Like, so but there was like no pillow talking, no calling you, like, what you do today? Like, none of that. Like, it was just a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. And they want no cuddling. It was just like, go. Like, I do feel like towards like some part of it was starting to get that way. It was starting to get to like, I guess we wanted more and more of each other, but it wasn't in the cards. And I'm gonna just say, thank God it wasn't in the cards. Been there, done that. And but yeah, so I did that. However, I'm still over here on this extreme, like a nigga couldn't tie me down if he wanted to. And I actually had two niggas that like wanted to, that like was like, let's get married. Like, and they was niggas from the past, and it was like, let's get married. And I'd be like, well, why you want to marry me? Like, cause at this point, like this feels like a trap. This feels like a trap. And like one of them would be like, oh, you such a good girl. Like you smart. And like, I know you like your hustle like mine and all that stuff. And I'm just like, but that's not good enough for me. That sounds great on paper. But that's not good enough for me. Sound real practical, right? And then another one, like, he always had the hearts for me. I always had the hearts for him, but I'll never disrespect my relationship while I was in my relationship. That's another thing. Like, I feel like men need to understand that, like, there are other men that, you know, pursue your woman, and it is up to your woman to be like, you know, nah. I always curve niggas when I was in a committed relationship. It's like, nah. So I used to feel like he used to thought like it. Well, he knew certain times like where like nah, but I used to feel like he thought like he was safe because I was curving niggas, and like it's just like, nope, that's just my loyalty. That's how I'm set up. And with that particular guy, that's a story for another day. But I fucked with him on like still to this day. Like I fuck with him. It ain't even gotta be like we never had sex. So it's not even on a sexual level. Like I really fuck with him. Like he be there when I need him to be there. So yeah, like he came up and was like, you know, we should get married. Like, yeah, we can be in an open relationship. Cause I was telling him like I ain't even ready yet. Like I just did 11 years. Like, and like when I say it felt like hard time, like I felt like I did hard time, bro. Like I felt like I truly did some hard ass time. And I'm like, I just did 11 years. Like I need at least 5 to myself, bro. So he was like, bro, we can have an open relationship. And I was just like, but that's not my idea of marriage, right? So, you know, like I just definitely was like, nah. So I actually did dating apps. And like I said, I think in previous videos, because I have hey, hold on 1 second. But yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this dog. So yeah, because I had HSV and I was in a relationship, I didn't have to self-disclose to the person in my relationship because we already knew. It was new for me to come out and just be dating and just having these awkward ass conversations with people. My self-esteem was on 0. And so I did download like a dating app for people with genital herpes. They have ones for like genital herpes, the herpes simplex 1, which is the ones around your mouth or found in other places besides your genitals. They also have some for like HIV. So like if you struggling with something, like when I tell you it is other people out here going through what you going through, like I really mean that shit. Like if you just use that $1,000 phone and research what you going through, Google. And that's kind of why I'm making these videos, is because I'm making these videos for a lot of reasons, but that's another reason. When it was certain things that I wanted to like see other people going through, like that was going through what I was going through, to let me know that I could get through it, I couldn't find those resources like on YouTube, in which I typically like watching YouTube. Like, so for example, like I found so much stuff about narcissistic abuse, but I never saw anything about how to grieve a narcissist when they die. I saw so much stuff about, you know, emotionally unavailable parents and like how to detach and all that stuff. But it's some things that I'm just not finding. Like I'm not finding a whole bunch of resources about like when you have, you know, a STD, that's a virus, and you know, society is labeled as uncurable. I'm not finding the resources about how you come out and tell someone. I was grateful enough, probably like last year, I found a girl at Shayna Singleton, and I've linked her in my previous HSV video. I found her on Instagram, and if it wasn't for me finding her, I probably would have never been able to tell my story. But she told her story on Instagram, and not only do she tell her story, she provides a wealth of resources. She provides coaching classes on, you know, how you can come out and tell your partners. She talks about having responsible sex, and responsible sex is not about how many partners you have, even though you do not want to be swapping energy with a whole bunch of fucking people. I'll say that. But responsible sex, you could have one partner, your partner could not be faithful, and he could bring home some shit that you just never in your life would have contracted if it weren't for his dog ass, or vice versa, because women do the same thing. So it's not about the sex or anything like that, the gender. It's about, you know, the acts. So she definitely talks about a wealth of things that, you know, I couldn't find online. But there are support groups, there are people out here, and use your $1,000 phone and Google. But yeah, I joined that app. But I felt like on that app, this is why I said in my last video, like, I'm not sleeping with somebody just because they had the same diagnosis as me. Like, I'm not gonna do it. It feels desperate, and it feels like I'm counting myself out from somebody who, you know, just because I don't have what they have, or they don't have what I have, it's counting them out, because there are people who are knowledgeable, who does know about it, and are accepting. So I felt like on that dating app, which I think most dating apps, like, it's just trash on there right now. But it just felt like like, because we had the same diagnosis, like, we were supposed to be bumping with each other. And I just felt like that was like a no for me. It was like, but who are you? Like, what's your likes and your don't likes? And even though, like, I didn't want marriage, like, if I'm going to date again, I still want to know who the fuck you like. I didn't sign up for a sex app. I signed up for a dating app. And so, but I did realize too that I was flawed and I wasn't ready to date yet. I met like 2 people on there that seemed like halfway decent. And one guy, he set up a date, but I had this shit with Dante going on. Like, he was stalking me and all that shit. And I ain't want to bring the random guy, like, into it. And like, the other guy, he had got brought into it because Dante didn't start stalking me. Well, I didn't find out he was stalking me until after the fact. Like, me and him was already dealing with each other. But, like, yeah, I had made arrangements to go out on a date with a guy. I ended up canceling on him because Charlotte got sick. And I just realized, like, I wasn't ready to date yet. Like, I wasn't ready to, like, let someone see me. And that's just basically it. Like, I wasn't ready to let somebody, not me physically, but me internally. Like, I wasn't ready to let somebody see me internally. And, you know, I deleted that fucking app. I deleted that app, and I just had, you know, I just settled for pleasure, I guess. And then some things transpired where I said, like, the things didn't work out with the person that I settled for pleasure with. And that's another thing too. I had an old ex who, you know, I kept telling him, like, I'm not ready to have sex with him. Like, I kept verbalizing that to him, like, that I wasn't ready for anything like that. You know, like, I wasn't going to say, like, you know, wasn't going to say never. But what I was saying to him was, like, I put it in these exact words, like, you know, I'm not planning to have sex. Like, if it happens, it happens. And if it don't, it don't. But I'm not just set out to plan for it to happen. So unbeknownst to me, I am thinking, you know, like, we had history. Like, he was cool back then. Like, I'm just thinking, like, you know, we could be cordial with each other. Like, we could be friends. Until I did get that mindset of, you know, wanting more. And with him, I didn't want to put sex in the picture because I felt like we did have history, and felt like that would confuse things. And then I'm already dealing with Sir over here, like, and it's working for me. Like, like I said, I don't got, he won't call me in the morning, he won't call me in the afternoon. Like, it was free. Like, I did not have to have, you know, nobody clocking me or any of that shit. Like, it felt free. Whereas in the other one, like, he would call every morning. God bless his heart. It was sweet. And it did encourage me on mornings that, you know, I didn't want to go to work. But however, I had gotten to this routine where, like, you know, I would listen to my music in the morning. And then if he called, like, I couldn't listen to my music. So I'm like, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. And then it just got to a point where, like, I'm just like, I need me time. And my mornings is my me time. I don't have Charlotte. It's what I do before I go into the place I don't want to go into. And so I feel like that kind of fizzled, but before it fizzled, he definitely tried to come over. He tried to have sex. I definitely had to keep telling him no. I even had to push him off of me. And when I was thinking he was coming over, you know, like, because I know him, I thought that, you know, it was safe. And then I know he was coming over, you know, just because he's never, you know, like, been like that. So I didn't know. But I look back at it too, though, like, in the past, our relationship was based off of, like, we had fun together. So I guess he thought like it was old times, like, but I'm not that young girl no more. So it was like, nah. And then it just made me feel weird, because when I said nah, like, the whole dynamic of the relationship changed. And then, like, bruh, for real, I'm sparing you, because, you know, you didn't even give me an opportunity to, you know, give you a rundown of what was going on with me. Matter of fact, none of them niggas did. I felt like, no, I'm gonna say the one that we got each other, like, we understood, like, you do what you do, I do what I do. I felt like he understood, but he still didn't understand the abuse and what I had been through. Like, but I think he definitely could tell that, like, I was different. And he was patient with me. So I felt like that's a lot of the reasons why it worked the way it worked. And then this one, though, it was like, you know, it was just like, you know, she's back available. Like, I want the old thing back. And, you know, like, it was no space, no conversation for a whole bunch of talk about sex. Like, none of that. Like, it was just like, get straight to the point. And I had already had, that's another thing I'm leaving out, I had already had a situation like that happen with a friend. And I'm gonna be transparent, like, this was a good friend of mine. But and which, like, we know each other since, like, little kids. And I think, like, I always had a crush on him. And when I left the relationship, like, he was an argument in our relationship. And I felt like when I left the relationship, like, it was like, because I always used to have to tell him, like, that was my friend. And, like, I laugh at this shit because, like, niggas is funny, because they'll be like, oh, she was probably already messing with him, you know, before then. But this is literally a situation where, like, this nigga was literally my friend before I met Dante. Like, we used to go out, like, on friend dates. Like, we would go out and do friend shit, just like I would do with my female friends, before I even met him. So I always looked at it like, this is my friend. And he used to always be like, you know, nah. And, like, so long story short, when I did leave, I did have a situation with him. And I felt like, you know, I did initiate this. I initiated this. I told him that I always had, you know, like, sexual feelings for him, like, on and off. And I don't know if I say on and off, but that's how it really was. Like, it was just on and off, different moments in life. And now that I was free, you know, like, I was thinking about that shit. And he kind of responded in a way with, like, I felt like he didn't want to have a conversation about it. Like, it was like, oh, I said this thing, and the only thing he was worried about was whether I was going to catch feelings or not, which is missing the whole fucking mark. Like, there was no conversation about, like, you know, why do you have these feelings? Like, how long have you had these feelings? Like, you know, what's going on? You know, like, it was no conversation about, like, I just popped up out the blue with this shit. And that was probably, like, a damaged part of me, an empty part of me that felt empty. He's a friend. He's being a good friend. And that's one thing I can always give him. Awesome fucking friend. He did drop the ball, would make me feel like I'm not safe, just from, you know, dealing with sexual abuse throughout my life. But I feel like he dropped the ball with me. We didn't have that conversation. It just became, like, for me, this elephant in the room. I started getting dick pics, and I started getting all these, like this strong, like, sexual energy. And it was like, you know, like, asking for news. And I'm like, bro, I don't even send news. Like, literally, like, I didn't even really send news to, like, Dante. We was together for, like, 11 years. Like, literally, there is very low production of videos and pictures. Like, no, that's just not my personality. I don't like it. It made me feel uncomfortable. So, but I wasn't able to verbalize these things. So it just felt like this whirlwind of events that was tumbling and happening. And it was happening out of my control, because I was in a vulnerable state. I had just left a fucking person who had like beat me down to zero. And I wasn't able to verbalize to my friend that, like, you know, can we slow down? Can we like stop? Like, my sexual feelings have dissipated. Like, they literally had dissipated by the time like he had came over. And yeah, he came over. It happened. The whole time, all I could think about was Dante. I was crying inside. I felt like I was kind of down a little bit inside, and it wasn't him. It was just the fact that it was too soon, and the way it happened. It just like I felt like nothing but sex. And then after it happened, it was like this elephant in the room. And then I got a weird text about like, oh, how was it? And it was like, why the fuck I gotta stroke your ego when mine just got killed? And I actually brought that up to him after Dante died, and he flipped this shit back on me. I will say, you know, definitely should have spoke up. Going forward, I did speak up for myself. But at that moment and at that time, I did not have the tools in my toolbox to be like, no, nigga, I don't want this no more. Like, we are friends. And, you know, it feels like it's ruined a good friendship. Like, we literally, when I say we were good friends to each other, like, I literally mean that was a male-female relationship. That was a platonic friendship. And it got ruined by me having the bright idea because my wires was crossed that, you know, maybe I should explore that shit with him. And now I'm left with a person who was actually a pretty good friend for friendship. You know, that's it. It feels destroyed. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it just feels destroyed. I don't know if I want to cross that bridge. I don't know if he want to cross that bridge. Shit, like. So, and it ain't about whether he want to or not. It's just about how I feel. But that situation, I'm happy it happened, because when it happened again, where someone was trying to force themselves on me pretty strongly, I was able to stand up for myself. And looking back, it does feel good that I was able to be like, no, like, I don't want to. And I would warrant men to stop forcing yourselves on women. Like, bruh, if she say no the first time, like, just take the fucking no. Like, stop. Like, don't do that shit. And it was hard, because, like, usually I would shut down in situations like that. And I had to be present and be like, no, we're not doing this. So, yeah, it's definitely been a loveless life for me after I left, and then after he has passed. I've been celibate. I've been celibate since July. Even when he was alive, like, I still wasn't having sex like a lot. Like, there were months going between, like, that I was having sex. I probably had sex like probably 4 or 5 times throughout the whole time period. If that. And I guess I'm just like, the love that I am getting is from people that I know are safe people, and they've been there, or they're new people, and they just have shown up to be like earthly angels. I'm getting love from them. I am getting love, a lot of self-love from myself, which is oddly enough ironic. The love that I was expecting from other people is actually me that I needed. It's actually me that can fill that void. And you know, I'm the type of person that I love love. I do love, and I know that one day, I feel like once he died, like, that let me know, like, that one day I could move on and have tried again in love. But when he was alive, I just felt like I was done. I didn't want no more. I didn't want to try again. the idea of the thoughts of, I didn't give a fuck whether it was a great man. Like, the idea of it just, it scared me. It scared the shit out of me. And even now, like, I can honestly say, like, I don't want marriage right now. It feels like jail. It feels like jail. However, I do feel like I'm getting to a point where, like, I told y'all, like, I am missing intimacy. Like, I will take intimacy, and I would be cool with that, like, for now. But sex and commitment, like, I guess what I want is somebody, like, I could just have fun with, I could talk to, and if sex happens, it happens, but it's nothing that, like, I'm pushing. Like, I don't feel that void in that department, because I feel like sex without intimacy anyway is blah. I ain't gonna say blah. All right, I'm lying. It ain't blah, but it's like after it happens, it's like you're left with nothing again. And so it's kind of like a drug. It's like, you know, this feeling, this hit feels good, and then after it's like it's back to the basics. So yeah, I think, like, right now in the space that I am in, I just want fun. I want somebody I can have fun with, like, I can travel with. I can, once I get myself together, though. That's another thing. Like, I've never been in a relationship where I've been taken care of the way I was supposed to be taken care of. And so I always had these ideologies that I need to get my shit together first before I jump into something else. And so for me, like, financially in shambles, I wouldn't want to put that on somebody else. So I definitely feel like I would want my confidence back in my finances before I definitely try to be serious with anybody. But fun, you know, fun I can do. Hanging out, talking, just fun. But I've yet to come across somebody whose wires is on a, or I would say wavelength is on. That's a lie. I've came across somebody whose wavelength was on my wavelength, but wrong time. So, you know, I'm just cooling it. I'm open to what feels right, and I'm working on me. Firstly, I'm working on me. I'm working on my faith with God. I'm working on, you know, doing what I have to do, like staying focused with my purpose. So if a person ain't aligned with that shit, like, yeah, it ain't gonna work. It just ain't gonna work. Like, if you don't got a relationship with God, like, it ain't gonna work. I don't care what religion you are. Like, I don't care about your religion. And as far as the kids, like, if you have kids or I have a child, you know, your kid, we'll love them like that. Like, we'll give love, but I feel like mine is almost goddamn grown, so don't nobody even have the responsibility of, you know, it's a package deal. And so, you know, I am definitely... So I don't really care about religion, because I think that was the only reason why I've ever cared about religion, is like, if I had kids with somebody, like, does our religion align? And for me, since I've been through that already, like, where, you know, I grew up Christian and Dante was Muslim, like, we made that work. Like, she got a balance of both, and I guess it was easier because Islam and Christianity is not that far apart. So it was easier. I don't know why Christians think it is, but it's not. But, you know, like, that made it kind of easy. But I feel like even if I was to have a child, even now with my spirituality, because, like, even though I'm Christian at heart, I am free and I'm not bound by, you know, by anybody but God. So, not a book, not a cross. It's God that I seek, you know, refuge in. And since I'm on a more freely and spiritual, path, I feel like I would want the person that I'm going to be with to actually give the child a foundation of their religion. And then, like I said, I would give the child a foundation of Christianity. If the child gets older, I'm there for them to explore outside of that too. So, but I do believe in kids having foundations in religion. But I do believe in the freedom of exploration. That's why I always say, like, I love Islam, because Islam allows you to explore. Whereas, and I feel like Christianity kind of like doesn't give you room for that. It's kind of like it's a hardcore, this is the answer. But if this is the answer, then why can't I explore? So I do like that Islam gives that freedom of you can explore, and they're just so confident that they're right that they know you're going to come right on back to Islam. So I love that about y'all. But Christianity, I love y'all too. I mean, Jesus died for our sins, and that's why we are sinners and we can repent. So yeah. I don't know how I got there on that little religion spiel, but I guess that's for a seriouser thought. Like I said right now, like my mind is kind of like on fun. And when I say my mind is on fun, I still expect certain expectations. Like I still expect respect and communication. I don't feel like, I should have to wonder or think or fill in the blanks, even though I can do the hell out of it. I just had a relationship where I had to do that all the time, and I don't want that anymore. Like, I want someone who knows how to communicate, who is gentle in communicating, because that helps me be gentle and communicating. Because if you're rah-rah with me, I'm gonna have a flashback that I'm, being attacked by my mom or my dad's yelling at me, like, and I'm gonna rah-rah with your ass because I ain't gotta deal with them no more. So I'm gonna feel like I gotta rah-rah with you. And I feel like, so definitely need a leader. Definitely need a leading man who, is emotionally intelligent and, stern but gentle. But yeah, I have not found anyone worth, except for one person. Like I said, it was bad timing, but outside of that, I have not found anyone yet. I get a lot of offers. That's one of the questions I have been asked on the side was like, how has it been since I came out that I had genital herpes? As far as like male attention, I felt like it picked up. I felt like it picked up a whole lot. Like, I feel like since I have been freer with my diagnosis, like, it's picked up more. So I feel like a lot of us are being held hostage by certain standards that, like, it's as far as the niggas, like, they don't care. As far as you, if you're, being safe and you do your research and you are healthy, it's not that great of a deal. So